Hey, it's Coach D. I want to share a nutrition story with you, but it has to do with mindset. And those of you who follow my blog, follow this channel, you know I'm huge on mindset, and you know that that's often the conversations that we have. And this was a wonderful example, and it came from my own mindset, but also the mindset of others. So bear with me, and maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from. Uh, so I play Sunday morning men's league hockey, and the team I run, my buddy is on it, who's our goalie, and he brought on a friend of his a couple seasons ago. Wonderful guy, like just a big man, tall, big, strong, but one of these guys that's the nicest guy in the world, would do anything for his teammates and his friends, but you certainly wouldn't want to piss him off. You know, one of those guys. And so my goalie friend said, as we're going into the rink for the first game this season, says, our teammate lost 50 pounds in the off season doing the carnivore diet. And he says, that's the one where you eat only meats, and you don't eat anything like bread or cake, which I thought was really funny that my friend brought up cake, so you know what he likes. And for those who aren't familiar, there's no fruits and vegetables, things like that. There's a little bit of dairy. It's primarily meats and animal proteins. And so I said, wow, good for him. And when he came in, he clearly leaned up and he played great. So he obviously felt great on the ice, dropping that. I mean, most of us feel great losing 10 pounds. Imagine losing five times that. But what I was fascinated with was the peace of mind in my own head. Now, as weird as that sounds, just follow me with this. In the past, in doing what I do for a living, I want to help people. And there's several of you watching this, I'm sure, that we're eager to jump in and just help and offer our advice, whether it's asked for or not, and to do our best to help people and guide them, right? But none of us know everything, or we certainly don't live in the other person's body. So who are we to say what's right or wrong? And it was a couple decades in, or almost 2 decades into my career, before I learned that psychology of coaching and really what my role is in what I do for a living. And I try and get that message out there that I'm not here to tell people what to do. And it's not up to me to say this is right or this is wrong. It's not up to anybody. It's up to me to offer, share experiences and stories and professional advice, pros and cons, offer some ideas of paths that a person can take in health or whatever their goals are. But it's up to the person to decide for themselves. And in this case, in the past, if I heard someone was on a carnivore diet, I would be rolling through all the pros and cons, gathering all this information in my head, so that if someone says, what do you think, Derek? Then I'd be spewing out all this stuff. But it's not up to me to do that. And clearly it's worked for my teammate, and I'm happy for him. So what was fascinating was, since becoming a certified nutrition coach with Precision Nutrition, where we call ourselves nutrition agnostics, meaning everything works for someone, right? There's no right or wrong. It's what works for you consistently and sustainably. Since learning that and coaching in that way, the first thought in my head was, good for him. I'm happy for him, and I hope he can maintain it. I hope this is a lifestyle he wants. I hope it's not stressing him to eat this way, because if it's not, then it's probably sustainable. And that goes well beyond pros and cons. It doesn't matter what I think is good about it or bad about it. It matters how he feels and what he chooses, because he's an adult. So that was fascinating to me. That was my mindset, and it was like a breath of fresh air. It's hard to explain until you're there. It was a breath of fresh air to think that way and go, hey, good for him. The other thing that I clued into was, in the past, I would have said something to myself along the lines of, oh, I could never do that, because I love bread, I love pasta, I love most food. So carnivore diet is not even in my realm, even though I like meat. But that thought wasn't in my head. It was different wording. I don't want to do that. I don't choose that. But he can. And it was a sense of peacefulness and calm in me. And so that also allowed me to be happy for my teammate. Now, let me throw out another mindset thing coming from my teammate that I thought was awesome. And I thought, this shows that you can do most things in a healthy way the fact that he came in 50 pounds lighter, played great on the ice, clearly felt great. You didn't hear a peep out of him about the carnivore diet. He was not touting everything we should and shouldn't eat. He wasn't saying his way is right or wrong. You had my goalie friend not brought it up, I wouldn't have known that he did that. That to me is a really healthy way of eating because it's just the way he chose to eat. That's it. It's not worth spreading out to everyone and, yelling at the top of his lungs what everybody else should do, or you're right or you're wrong. It wasn't about that. It was about him. And I hold a lot of respect for people who are like that. It reminds me of my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Many years ago decided to go vegetarian. You wouldn't know that that's the way they choose to eat unless you paid attention to what they're eating or unless you asked them, because they just eat the way they want to eat. And when they come to family barbecues and they know we're going to be barbecuing some animal meats, they bring a vegetarian alternative that they cook up. They don't ask for anybody to, change their ways for them. They don't make anybody feel bad for how we choose to eat. They just eat the way they eat. And I think that's really healthy. So I wanted to share that with you because, again, my teammate looks great, feels great. He's made a significant change for his body. It is no one's right to tell him that he's wrong for the choice he made as an adult. And we all need to get into that mind space with nutrition, fitness, stress, sleep, financial health, social health. Get out of this whole right or wrong, good or bad, I know more than you know, any of that, and just provide options, provide information, and let people make their own decisions. And you focus on yourself.